अब बच्चे खुश और मम्मी भी। कारवां मिनी किड्स।
Krishna in Vrindavan. Krishna and Balaram both used to play a lot with boys of their age. One day, when they were playing, an old woman came. She was selling fruits, but no one seemed to buy them. She was quite old and tired. Krishna saw her and asked her to sell fruits to him. The old lady was very happy. She put down her basket and started giving him fruits. The old lady needed to be paid some grains in return. Krishna went inside and got grains for her in his small palms. By the time he reached her, most of the grains had fallen down. Only a very few were left, which the lady took happily. She kept the grains in her basket and left. The old lady reached her home and opened her basket. To her surprise, the basket was now filled with diamonds and pearls. Gokul was having many such miracles nowadays. Despite of these, the villagers were getting worried. They had started thinking that their village had become a favorite spot of evil spirits. They had seen demons like Putana and Bakasur, the whirlwind, and also the uprooting of trees. They all decided to shift to a safer village. They came across Vrindavan. It was a good and safe place to stay. It had lush green grass for their cattle to graze. Yamuna river flowed nearby. The troop was led by the young men whom the old followed. The young boys set up their tents there in Vrindavan, and all the villagers decided to stay there. The cattle were also happy with the lush grass. Krishna and Balaram were growing stronger with each passing day. Krishna is born. Devaki gave birth to her 8th child. Vasudev was the first one to see him. The child was in the form of Lord Vishnu. Both Devaki and Vasudev urged the Lord to change his form into a baby. They were scared of Kansa. The Lord quickly turned himself into a baby using his powers. Lord Vishnu then looked at the worried couple and smiled. He said, "Do not be so afraid. Take me to Gokul right now. There you will have to put me in Yashoda's house and bring her daughter Yoga Maya here." Vasudev agreed. He carried his son on his head in a basket. While doing so, his chains opened on their own along with the prison doors. All the guards were in deep sleep. This was all God's doing. The rain was also less that night. Sheshnag was also there, spreading its heads on them like a hood. Yamuna river, which is very deep, made way for Vasudev and Lord Vishnu. Vasudev reached Gokul safely and was surprised to see everyone sleeping there. He quickly went to Yashoda's room and kept his son there. He then picked up Yoga Maya and came back to the prison. The baby's cry woke up the guards, and they rushed to inform Kansa. He woke up quickly and reached the prison. Devaki was already in tears. She pleaded Kansa to spare the baby as it was a girl. But Kansa did not pay heed to her prayers. He snatched the girl from Devaki's hands. As Kansa was about to smash the baby on a stone, the girl slipped from his hands. She took the form of goddess Durga. She had 8 hands, each with holding either a bow, conch, disc in them. The goddess was furious with Kansa and rebuked him. She said that the 8th son had already taken birth in someone else's home. He was killing babies here for no reason. Saying this, the goddess left. Kansa was suddenly in tears of guilt. He started crying. He looked at Devki and Vasudev with folded hands. He said, I am very cruel and have sinned the most. I have no one with me now. I do not know what will happen to me after I die. I am so sorry. Lord Shiva as a beggar. Once upon a time, the sages of Daruka forest decided that the only thing that was supreme was karma and not God. They stopped praying to God and began doing karma. In the process, they were forgetting facts like God is the one who provided fruits to the doer in the end. They forgot that inanimate deeds could not give them fruits on their own. The gods decided to teach them a lesson. Lord Shiva took the form of a beggar and Lord Vishnu took the form of Mohini. Both the gods were without clothes and reached the streets to beg for alms. They were pretending that they did not even have clothes to wear, while in reality, they were the givers of everything. Looking at Lord Shiva as a beggar, the wives of the sages forgot everything and started following him blindly. The same happened with the sages who followed the beautiful Mohini. They had all forgotten their deeds then. When both the wives and sages saw each other, they got very angry. They came to know the beggars were Lord Shiva and Vishnu. The sages began conducting the Abhicharya Yagna to harm the gods. They sent out snakes, tiger, demons, fire and the drum from the Havan at the Lord. They forgot the Lord was supreme and was the source of everything in the world. Lord Shiva smiled and made all of the weapons as his ornaments. The sages then realized their mistake and prayed to the Supreme God. Lord Shiva blesses Ganesha. Parvati's palace door was always guarded by two of Shiva's men, Nandi and Bhringi. Parvati's companions Jaya and Vijaya did not like that the door was guarded by people answerable to Shiva and not Parvati. They thought it should be guarded by someone answerable to Parvati, as it was her palace. Also, Shiva walked into the palace any time he wanted. They asked Parvati to find a solution to it. So, Parvati took some clay from a pond and turned it into a handsome young boy. She named this boy Ganesha. You are my son. You have to guard the gate and not allow anyone inside, she told Ganesha. Ganesha went and stood at the gate with a rod in one hand, while Parvati went to take bath. After some time, Shiva came to the gate with his companions. He was stopped by Ganesha, who did not let Shiva enter. Ganesha said that his mother was bathing inside. My name is Shiva. You cannot stop me, said Shiva. Ganesh replied, I do not know of any Shiva. You have to stay outside. Despite of the warning, Shiva tried to enter the palace, but Ganesha started beating Shiva with his rod. Shiva asked his companions to get rid of the boy from the gate. All his companions were getting beaten up by Ganesha. Nandi held one leg of Ganesha while Bhingi held the other. Both then tried to pull Ganesha, who in turn uprooted a door and hit both of them with it. All the sages and gods rushed to the spot to see what the matter was. Shiva even asked Lord Brahma to intervene. Brahma approached Ganesha to speak to him. But Ganesha, not knowing who Brahma was, attacked him and pulled off his bed. Brahma fled the spot in pain. One by one, all the gods started attacking Ganesha, but in vain. Lord Vishnu then told Shiva that Ganesha could only be tricked in defeat. He then went face to face with Ganesha. The little boy threw a mace towards Vishnu, hurting him. He even threw a mace at Shiva, dismantling his bow. Vishnu and Ganesha then began fighting each other. Vishnu even used the Sudarshan Chakra, while Ganesha used his mace. Meanwhile, Shiva came up from behind and cut off Ganesha's head with his Trishul. Parvati soon came to know of this and was angry beyond control. She was going to destroy the whole world. Narad Muni was sent to calm her down. Parvati then laid down 2 conditions to calm herself down. She wanted Ganesha to be brought back to life and that he should be considered a god too. The gods accepted the conditions and began searching for Ganesha's head. The head was lost during the fight. Ganesha's body was washed and cleaned in the meantime. The Lord Shiva asked his companions to bring the head of the first living being they saw. This living being happened to be an elephant whose head was chopped and brought. The elephant's head was then joined to Ganesha's body and he was brought back to life by Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva together. From that day, Ganesha was considered as a god and came to be known as Ganpati, the lord of Shiva's companions. He was also supposed to be worshipped by all before beginning with anything new. Ganesha was created by Parvati in Kartik month during Krishna Paksha. Chaturthi Tithi is the 4th lunar day of Krishna Paksha. Hence, Chaturthi Tithi is the day we all worship to Ganesha. Nandi. There once lived a sage named Shilada. One day, Shilada came to know that his ancestors were all being tortured in hell. When he tried to find out the reason, he came to know that it was because he did not have a son till now. So Shilada began to pray to Lord Shiva to obtain a son. He prayed for almost 1,000 years, after which Lord Shiva finally appeared before him. Shilada was then given the boon that he will have a virtuous son. After a few days, while ploughing, Shilada found a baby boy on the blade of his plough. The boy was shining like the sun and fire. Shilada got scared and started running away. He suddenly heard the boy cry, "Don't run, father. Please stop." Simultaneously, a voice from the sky also told him that this was the son he had wished for. Shilada named him Nandi, as he would make everyone happy. Shilada took him home to his hermitage and began teaching him. He taught him the Vedas, Shastras, medicine, and fighting, along with dancing and singing. Nandi learnt everything within 15 days. He even mastered all the sacred texts. One day, when he was 7, 2 sages came to Shilada's hermitage. They were Mitra and Varuna. Shilada worshipped the sages and asked Nandi to do the same. They then blessed Nandi to be faithful to his teacher. Shilada asked them why they had not blessed Nandi with a long life. "Your son is destined to die when he turns 8 years old. Hence we could not bless him with a long life." The sages replied sadly and left. Shalada was heartbroken. Nandi consoled his father and said that he would pray to Lord Shiva to rewrite his fate. Shalada told Nandi that he had to pray to Lord Shiva for 1,000 years before getting a boon. But Nandi was confident of his devotion to Shiva and reassured his father. Nandi then went to river Bhuvana. He went underwater and began praying to Shiva. Lord Shiva was so pleased with his devotion that he appeared before him. Nandi asked Shiva to be made his devotee. He did not want to die and be reborn again. All Nandi wanted was to become Shiva's devotee. Lord Shiva granted him the boon. Nandi and his father Shalada were given shelter in Shivlok. Nandi became the chief of Ganas and became a perpetual companion of the Lord.